Caitlin Clark has been on a meteoric rise since entering the WNBA, but if she thought the transition from college to the pros was going to be smooth sailing, she's got another thing coming, because the reigning WNBA champion, Breanna Stewart, has made it crystal clear she and the New York Liberty aren't going to step aside just because a new superstar is in town. And honestly, who could blame them? Clark is being hailed as the future of the WNBA, and to a certain extent, she absolutely is. She's bringing new fans, selling out arenas, and making headlines like no rookie before her. But the league already has established stars, players who have put in the work for years, won championships, and built their own legacies. And Breanna Stewart, she's at the very top of that list. So when Stewart sent out a message during the Liberty's championship parade saying we're not done yet, that wasn't just a celebration, that was a statement, that was a warning. That was her telling Clark and every other rising star in the league that the Liberty aren't just going to hand over the crown. This is about pride. This is about dominance. This is about proving that while Caitlin Clark might be the future, Breanna Stewart is the present. And that right there is what makes this upcoming WNBA season so exciting, because the Liberty versus Fever matchups aren't just going to be regular games, they're going to be battles, statement games, a fight between the established guard and the new wave of talent. Let's not forget, the WNBA has been dominated by a handful of elite players for years. Stewart, Aja Wilson, Elena Del Don, these are women who have been the face of the league for a long time. They've built their reputations by winning championships, breaking records, and proving their greatness on the court. Now, there's a new superstar in the mix, and she's threatening to change everything. Caitlin Clark isn't just a good rookie. She's an elite playmaker with MVP potential, and everyone in the league knows it. That's why there's so much talk about her already. That's why players like Stewart feel the need to make sure the world knows they aren't going anywhere. But here's the thing. Clark isn't just coming for the spotlight, she's coming for championships, and the Fever have built a roster that's ready to compete. For years, Indiana was stuck at the bottom of the league. They were irrelevant, barely making headlines, struggling to put together a team that could compete with the best. But then, everything changed. The moment they drafted Clark, they knew they were getting a franchise-altering player, and they didn't stop there. They went out and made moves. They strengthened their roster, added depth, and turned themselves from a rebuilding team into instant contenders. Natasha Howard, a veteran leader with championship experience. Sophie Cunningham, a sharpshooter who brings toughness to the court. Kelsey Mitchell, one of the most dynamic scorers in the league. Aaliyah Boston, an absolute force in the paint. And then of course there's Clark. She's not just a scorer, she's not just a shooter, she's a floor general who makes everyone around her better. That's why she was able to average nearly 20 points and 8 assists per game in her rookie year. That's why she was already in MVP discussions. That's why fans are already calling her the best point guard in the league. But again, here's where the warning from Breanna Stewart comes in, because talent alone isn't enough to win in the WNBA. This isn't college. This isn't a league where you can just dominate based on skill alone. This is the most competitive women's basketball league in the world, and winning at the highest level takes more than just talent. It takes experience. It takes toughness. It takes knowing how to win when the pressure is at its highest. And that's what Stewart and the Liberty have. They've been through the battles, they've won those close games, they've gone through the grind of a WNBA season and come out on top. And that's why Stewart's message to Clark is so important. She's saying, we see you, we respect you, but we're not letting you take over without a fight. And that's what makes this season so compelling, because Clark isn't the type to back down from a challenge. She wants this fight, she wants the pressure, she wants to go head-to-head with the best and prove she belongs. Think about what makes her so special. Her shooting range, ridiculous. Her passing vision, elite. Her ability to take over games, unmatched for a rookie. She plays the game with a level of confidence and fire that only the greatest players have. But confidence alone isn't enough. because for every crazy three-pointer she drains, there's going to be a veteran like Stewart waiting to humble her. For every highlight reel pass, there's going to be defenders waiting to test her physicality. For every sold-out arena, there's going to be opposing teams ready to shut her down. And that's why this season is going to be must-watch basketball, because we're not just watching Clark's rise, we're watching the entire league respond to it. Some players are embracing her success. They see what she's doing for the WNBA, and they're excited about it. They want to see the league grow. They want to see women's basketball get the respect it deserves. But others, they see her as a threat. They see her as someone who hasn't earned it yet. They see her as someone who's getting all the attention before proving she can win at the highest level. And that's why Stewart's warning isn't just about the Liberty versus the Fever. It's about the entire WNBA testing Caitlin Clark to see if she's really as good as everyone says she is. And Clark, she's going to have to answer that question every single night. Every game is going to be a battle. Every matchup is going to be a test. Every time she steps on the court, there's going to be a target on her back. And if she wants to be the face of the league, she's going to have to earn it. Because Breanna Stewart and the rest of the WNBA's elite, they aren't ready to pass the torch just yet. And Clark wouldn't have it any other way. Breanna Stewart's warning wasn't just words. It was a statement of intent. A reminder that the WNBA isn't some league where you can walk in and dominate overnight. No matter how much hype surrounds you, Caitlin Clark might be the biggest name in women's basketball right now, but that doesn't mean Stewart and the rest of the WNBA's elite are ready to let her take over, and that's what makes this upcoming season so compelling. Clark isn't just stepping into a league where she's expected to develop quietly. She's walking into the most competitive, high-stakes, pressure-filled environment of her life. Every game is going to be a test. Every matchup is going to feel like a playoff battle, and no team, especially the Liberty, is going to make things easy for her. But that's the thing about Caitlin Clark. She thrives on this kind of challenge. Throughout her entire career, people have doubted her. They said she wouldn't dominate in college. She did. They said her playing style wouldn't translate to the WNBA. It has. They said the physicality of the league would be too much for her. She's already adjusted, and now she has to prove that she's not just a great player, she's a winner. That's the difference between being a superstar and being a legend. Stewart knows what it takes to win at the highest level. She's done it. She's gone through the grind of a full WNBA season, navigated the challenges of the playoffs, and won championships. Clark, she hasn't done that yet, and until she does, there's always going to be that lingering question, can she actually lead a team to a championship? Stewart's warning wasn't just about defending the Liberty's title, it was about setting the tone for the entire league, because Clark isn't just a great player, she's a threat to the old guard of the WNBA. She represents a new era, a changing of the guard, a shift in power, and not everyone is ready for that. Some players see what she's doing and embrace it. They recognize that she's bringing more eyes to the WNBA, making the league more popular and opening up new opportunities for everyone. But others, they see her as someone who hasn't earned it yet, and that's why this season is going to be a war. It's not just about the Liberty and the Fever, it's about Clark versus the rest of the league, because make no mistake, every single team in the WNBA is going to come after her. Every time she steps on the court, she's going to get the best from her opponents, because that's what happens when you're a superstar. That's what happens when you're the face of the league, and Clark wouldn't want it any other way. But let's be real, this isn't just about basketball. This is about legacy. This is about who's going to define this era of the WNBA. For years, Breanna Stewart has been at the top. She's been one of the most dominant forces in the game. She's won multiple MVPs, led her teams to championships, and built a reputation as one of the greatest players of her generation. And now, Clark is coming for that spot. She's already one of the most talked about athletes in the world. She's already changing the way people view women's basketball. She's already proving that she belongs among the best. But being great isn't enough. To truly take that next step, She has to win. She has to prove that she can go toe-to-toe with the best players in the world and come out on top. And that means she's going to have to go through Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, and every other WNBA star who refuses to give up their place at the top. That's what makes this rivalry so special, because Clark isn't just competing against Stewart, she's trying to take her throne, and Stewart knows it. She's not just sending out warnings because she wants to intimidate Clark, she's doing it because she knows what's at stake. She knows that if Clark really is the next big thing, then that means the WNBA is going to change forever, and not everyone is comfortable with that. That's why the veterans in this league aren't just going to let it happen. They're going to test her every single night. They're going to push her to her limits. They're going to make sure that if she's going to take the crown, she's going to have to earn it the hard way. And honestly, that's exactly what Clark wants. She doesn't want it handed to her. She doesn't want people to just assume she's the best. She wants to prove it. And that's why this upcoming season is going to be the most exciting WNBA season we've seen in years, because Clark is going to get every team's best shot, because Stewart and the Liberty aren't just defending their title, they're defending their legacy, because this isn't just a regular rookie versus veteran story. This is the beginning of a rivalry that could define the WNBA for years to come. So here's the real question. Is Clark ready? She's been great. She's been spectacular. She's already doing things that no rookie has ever done before. But now the stakes are higher than ever. Now she's not just trying to prove she belongs. She's trying to take over the league. And to do that, she has to beat the best. She has to outshine Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, and every other star who's going to try to stop her. She has to prove that she's not just the future, she's the present. And Stewart, she's going to do everything in her power to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why this season isn't just about winning games. It's about legacy. It's about who's going to be remembered when it's all said and done. And Clark, she has the chance to change the WNBA forever. But first, she has to survive the warning from Breanna Stewart, because the road to greatness is never easy, and Clark is about to find out just how hard it is to take the throne. Caitlin Clark isn't just up against Breanna Stewart, she's up against history itself. Every great athlete, whether it's LeBron James in the NBA or Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, faces a moment where they have to take the torch from the previous generation. But in the WNBA, that transition hasn't always been smooth. This is a league filled with established veterans who have fought hard for their respect, and they aren't going to let a rookie waltz in and change everything without putting her through a serious test. And if we're being real, Clark has already faced some of that resistance. It's no secret that there have been whispers of jealousy surrounding her arrival. Some players in the WNBA aren't thrilled about the way she's being hyped up. They don't like that she's getting massive endorsement deals, primetime TV slots, and a level of attention that most WNBA players never get, even some of the all-time greats. For veterans like Stewart, who have spent years grinding in this league, the arrival of Clark presents a unique challenge. On one hand, she understands that Clark is bringing new eyes to the game, which benefits everyone. But on the other hand, she's a competitor. She doesn't want Clark's story to overshadow her own dominance and success. That's why this isn't just a normal rivalry. It's a battle for power. Clark is trying to build her own legacy, but in order to do that, she has to go through the legends of today: Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, Sabrina Ionesco, Elena Del Don. These are the names that define this era of the WNBA, and the reality is, Clark hasn't earned her place among them yet. She's made an impact. Yes, she's shattered records, brought in massive viewership, and helped turn Indiana Fever into a must-watch team. But until she wins at the highest level, she'll still have doubters, and the veterans in the league, they're going to use that doubt against her. They're going to make sure she earns every bucket. They're going to play her more physically than anyone else. They're going to remind her why they're the best, until she proves otherwise. And that's what makes this so exciting, because Clark isn't backing down. She knows she has everything to prove, and she's built for this moment. She's taken on doubters before. She's had people tell her she wasn't ready before, and every single time, she's proven them wrong. Now, she has to do it again, on the biggest stage of her life, because Breanna Stewart's warning wasn't just for Clark, it was for the whole league. And Caitlin Clark's response, she's about to answer on the court, and there you have it. Breanna Stewart has made her stance clear, and Caitlin Clark has a massive challenge ahead of her. This isn't just about one season, it's about who will dominate the WNBA for years to come. Will Clark rise to the occasion and prove she's ready to take over, or will Stewart and the other veterans remind everyone why they're still the queens of the league? One thing's for sure, this season is going to be electric. Every matchup between the Fever and the Liberty is going to feel like a playoff game, and the battle between Clark and Stewart is just getting started. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Clark is ready to take over the WNBA, or will Stewart and the Liberty hold their ground? Let me know in the comments.